I just totally shot myself in the foot with that. Greetings, luxe lovers, welcome or welcome back. Here we believe in intentional luxury and we're not afraid to invest in pieces that will work for us. So if that resonates with you, then please consider subscribing and stay a while. So today's video is day 3 on site in Paris, France, and it's going to be a bit of a rambly video up front and then I'll open up these pieces. So use the timestamps below to choose your own adventure. But as a continuation from yesterday, last night I was super dejected and sad because I wasn't able to get a walk-in leather appointment, and furthermore, I wasn't picked for the lottery, even with all my pre-spend. On the other hand, I had a fantastic night with my friends in Paris. They got a babysitter. We had dinner. They walked me all the way back to my hotel, so it was so fantastic. It was the first warm night of the year, so I'm so grateful for that. But then when I got home, I was sad, and I just kind of felt like I was done. But then this morning I woke up and I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. I had to pick up an item anyway by the Sevres store. So I lined up and I went in. I was actually the second person in line, and would you believe it, with my luck, it was the very nice gentleman who was at the desk the day before who told me that there were no appointments left, even though he told me to come back. So I was so nervous. I got up to him in line. The first people legit had an appointment, so he sat them down. And so it was like, bonjour. And he said, may I have your passport? And then that's when I was like, oh, I don't have an appointment. I just wanted to see if you had openings. And then he repeated himself. He's like, may I have your passport? And then I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. And I was in. Guys, he took my passport and I could tell that he was like typing it in rather than looking me up in the system. So he, God bless him, was like ready to give me an appointment. And as he was looking, I could tell he was like, And he was probably seeing all of the thousands of euros that I had spent the days before. But then something crazy happened. He looked at my history and he was like, oh, but you got a bag on April 28th. And in my head, I immediately went back to my last quota bag, which was around April 26th of last year. And I was super confused. And he was like, yeah, for a small store like us in George V, it is not possible for us to offer you a bag. He like kept on looking at stuff and I kept asking. I was like, what about a picotin? What about this and that? He was like, what are you after? And I told him what I was after. And he just basically was like, oh, it is impossible, but you can try at FSH where there's more stock. So guys, I was like in, but what I realized later, I thought he was talking about my old quota bags, but he was literally talking about the mini her bag that I just got without a leather appointment. But I guess a bag is a bag, and all they see is that I got that on my spend profile. What he didn't know was that I wasn't really in a leather appointment, so I couldn't have asked for anything else, but I just totally shot myself in the foot with that. And for a second, I also thought that they could see like global spend, and that wasn't the case. They were just looking at my European profile. So unlike my last trip where I was able to get my mini Lindy on one day and then the next day get an appointment, this is like a whole new ball of wax, guys. So I was just straight up told, no, I couldn't. Perhaps George V might have been a little more lenient, but FSH, I'm kind of done with that store, to be honest. It's a bit of a zoo. In a way, I'm super disappointed that I had a leather appointment in my clutches, but because I was able to finagle that mini her bag, I wasn't able to get the bag of my dreams. So I think this is a lesson learned. I will lick my wounds and I will move on and just work with my local SA, but boy, was that a hard lesson to learn. So the advice I would have to you guys is try not to be greedy and see if you can get that leather appointment, because if you have any other bags on your profile, at least in my case, they like would not let me buy another bag. So a word to the wise. So right around the corner from the Sevres store is this that I picked up. So I'll just show you. This is from the brand Maison Labiche, and I just think it's so funny because I think about like on that biche. They specialize in shirts and sweaters and clothing, but you can personalize it. So it is in that same Saint Germain area. The first item I got was this, and it is a really cool, of course, green V-neck, which I'm loving the V-necks recently. I think it's cotton, but it has almost like a linen feel. I'll have to look. But as you can see, it has this really cute embroidery, Amour, So I just love this. I feel like this will be a perfect summertime shirt. And that was like right off the rack. They just sell this. And then this is what I got personalized. And this is like the most quintessential French type of shirt, but you can personalize it. And I got it embroidered with mama. Now in hindsight, I really wanted it to say maman, but I wasn't gonna argue with them. I probably wrote mama, M-A-M-A. But this is a great mom shirt, so I love it. I wish I put it in French, but I think that was me being totally jet lagged. And then after that, I did go back to George V to see if I could find my essay that helped me in the beginning to see if she could do anything, but she was busy. I saw her, but she had like a legit appointment coming in, so I wasn't able to work with her. And that's fine. I also inquired about Kelly To Go wallets, but they didn't have any deliveries that day, so that was a bit of a bust. And then I went just up the street to the Louis Vuitton on the Champs-Élysées, and I picked up a few items. So the first thing I'll show you is I did go in, and this I unboxed in a previous video, but I brought it with the intent on having it embossed. So here it is. As you can see, this is the Louis Vuitton Paris stamp in my passport holder. How cute is that? It just says Louis Vuitton Paris since 1854. And so I got the gold stamp. They did have another stamp option available, but I like this one. And even though this has the silver embossing on this side, I'm fine, as you know, to mix my metals. So I just felt like that was just a special little treat, and they were able to do that in half an hour. Then we'll open this item. Have a little drawer. And I got, this time, the traditional size key pouch. So here it is. One of my all-time best fit videos on this channel is when I opened up the key pouch S, but this is now the smaller size in the original monogram canvas. So as you can see, here's the inside. Here is my favorite keychain hardware, shiny and new. This one on the inside, you can't really see, but it does say made in France. But what's interesting, it's not embossed with like gold foil. It's actually just stamped in brown. So if anyone is interested, I can take a picture, but it's not like gold. Maybe they had issues with the stamping, but I'm happy to have one that's made in France. And I think the reason why I really wanted to circle back to this size was sometimes you just want SLGs that have a very particular purpose rather than an all-in-one. I get that people like an SLG that will have the key pouch and your lip gloss and your lip balm and your wallet, but for me, I kind of like having this and my separate card holder because it just gives you more options in the end. And then here's the last box. And this is so big that I am definitely gonna have to break this down when I go home. Oh, it's a drawer. Here it is. And I got the Louis Vuitton zip toiletry pouch. Look at that. This is so cool. I went in and I was asking about Murakami pieces, of course, and I was still on the quest for the Nice BB in the cherry blossoms, but we were just walking around. They didn't have that. But then I was like, in my mind, oh, I remembered I was always looking for this. So this feels super good. And I couldn't explain to her what it was, so I actually had to pull up Amazon and show her what the dupe looks like. But once she saw it, she knew. And this is one of those lay flat type toiletry pouches. I think if you call it cosmetic pouch, that is a very like loaded term. But this might be toiletry pouch, and it has a little stuffing in it. I might just use this right away actually to hold a lot of the things that I just bought. So I might just wrap it in this, leave the box. But how useful is that? This is amazing. I think it will definitely fit into my luggage, but I'm gonna use this right away. And this is just so helpful. So I'm so glad she was able to secure this for me. So in conclusion, I head home today. My flight is at 8:30 p.m. and I really can't wait to get back to my family. This was quite the whirlwind again, but I'm definitely kicking myself because I feel like I got greedy in the beginning by getting that her bag, which made me not be able to get my dream bag in the end. But I don't know, like how much can you really beat yourself up about it? I have to stay positive and I have to just imagine that next time I come, maybe next year, I will be a little bit wiser. I won't fall for the low-hanging fruit if I can hold out and still try to get a leather appointment. This would have been another one eking out on my last day. I think it just does go to show that if you keep trying and you're very polite about it, that you will have a chance if the people see you coming back again and are very good natured about it. So I hope we can all learn something in the lesson that I just learned, but I am grateful for the good relationships I have with my local boutique, and I will just work through that process. So thank you to those who've stayed with me to the end. Let me know in the comments what your favorite piece was from this trip. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like to see more of how I style these pieces in my day-to-day and other luxury moments. If you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to go down the rabbit hole that is my Paris playlist, and I'll put that link here. Please like it if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!